internships and sponsorships across for work. For those that are not familiar, across for work is just a society which empowers Black students at the University of Warwick. And today we have an event in collaboration with Warwick Finance Societies. We share our passion to develop young talent and provide valuable insights into the finance industry. Together, we've created this event to give new students a unique opportunity to learn and network with some of the inspiring and accomplished figures in the world of finance. We have honors, Vice President of BNP Paribas in the FIG M&A team. Then we have Sony, which actually is a Warwick alumni, currently at Evercore, doing ECM and product placements. And now I'm going to pass on to the speakers, Daphne and Jamie.
I think we can give a round of applause to our speakers. All right, thank you both for coming all the way to work today to speak with these two great societies. First, would you mind telling us a bit more about yourselves and your journey?
Can you hear me? Yes. Thank you. Thanks both for the introduction. I'm Stefanos. I'm originally from Cyprus. I joined BNP back in 2018 as a graduate, and back then it was a rotational program, and I did essentially 36-month rotations in UK M&A, FIG M&A, and then ECM. And I joined my current team, which is UK M&A, so not FIG, UK M&A, that back in at the end of my graduate program, and I've been there ever since. Background.
Everyone. So I graduated from Warwick in 2018, then joined obviously banking graduate program. When I joined, it was actually the first year that I went straight into. I was there for about 2.5 years. Then I moved over to Evercore placements.
Thank you so much. So a lot of people here are not really familiar with what investment banking actually is. So could you guys define investment banking and tell us what a day in your life looks like?
Maybe I can go first because it's quite an open-ended question. So investment banking is essentially basically provide services. There's two arms to investment banking. Let's maybe start there. There's of traditional investment banking. There's the services part, so advisory aspects, which includes essentially, like M&A, what I do, what Real does in terms of private placement advisory, MCM advisory. There's leverage finance. All of those aspects are under kind of the corporate banking umbrella, and then you have the markets side, which is your trading, your sales and trading, your syndicate, all of these areas which all together comprise the traditional investment bank. So what's different to, I guess, a normal bank or Lloyd's or NATO Invest? Essentially, they do not, an investment bank is providing services to. They don't take like deposits and they don't give out loans to like retail clients. They work with corporate clients, larger corporate corporations or private equities, in that sense. Probably not, providing a very clear answer to the question, but I would maybe pass it on to Priya. Maybe she's going to provide a clear answer. Quite a difficult question to answer.
Yeah, I would just say maybe not to complicate things even more, but you have traditional investment banks, and you also have boutique independent advisory firms. Someone like an Evercore is an independent advisor i.e. doesn't have a balance sheet. So any ECM advice that they give, your advice, there's no risk to balance sheet like there would be at BNP or BNP. I don't know if that conflicts more, but that different areas.
All right, and what's an average day in the life look like? Again, very open-ended question, I would say.
Yeah, honestly, it varies a lot, depending on the day. I would say product teams, so ECM, that are also very market focused. So at C, for example, where you also cover something like broking, you typically at the start of the day before the market's open. And then in the traditional M&A or advisory, ECM advisory start. And the day go on and going on right opportunity finish time.
Okay, so obviously it's a very competitive industry and it's crucial to differentiate yourself. Sorry, I struggled with that word. Compared to other applicants. So you obviously both have very different journeys, and we'd like to ask you more specific questions regarding these different paths.
Our first question is for Priya. So we know that you graduated from Moore in 2018. So could you share with us more about what societies you're heavily involved in and how has that helped you in your career here?
So whilst I was here, I got involved in a variety of stuff, not just necessarily finance, is it? But I think generally, if you just take the aspect of being involved in society in whatever respect, when you go into these, let's say, more interview role, you have these typical behavioral questions. And you want to be I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you have these behavioral questions, a good example of you can say what you're involved in at university and society-wise. But also, as Mother mentioned, you are a person, it's you're interviewing for these things. It's not just based on your finance knowledge, it's also who you are as a person outside of this as well.
And to you, Stefanos, a lot of the students from work come from Singapore, Korea, Turkey, and all these countries have a military service. So I understand you served in the military, and I wanted to understand how that helps shape your relationship with your working life.
But I was going to speak about the military in this poem, but I guess what's the one thing that the military gives you is this impact. That's kind of the obvious thing. And also, secondly, it gives you structure. So going into university after my military service, I was 2 years older than everyone else, which at that age kind of makes a little bit of a difference. And it also gives you a sense of, with that, gives you like a bit of a maturity as well. So while everyone else, kind of goes out on parties and spends the next day kind of in bed, which is nothing wrong with that. You kind of you're focused on a specific goal and you kind of work towards it. And this notion of delayed gratification or delayed kind of benefit from your actions is an important thing to have in mind while you work towards a goal, be it in your professional or your personal life. What, as I was saying, what the army has given me is the ability to, just get on with it, put your head down and go through it, whatever it is, whether it is, have to work very long hours for like your university work or for job. I think that's I think also probably something we should talk about. during integration, and some people can find it a little bit. Some people like to talk about these things during integration. So I guess use it to your advantage if you had to do an army like a military service in the past. If you haven't, then it doesn't really change anything. It's not people are not going to look at the CV and see, okay, you've done the army or you haven't done the army.
Thank you so much, Stephanos. I personally come from Singapore, so a lot of my peers and people around me have served in the military, so your insights are really relevant to a lot of us at work. The next question is for Priya. So we understand that you did your summer internship at Rothschild, which is a French firm, and then you moved to RBC, which is a Canadian firm, and then to Evercore, which is an American firm. So could you tell us more about the difference in the cultures between these three firms?
Yeah, I think what we have to realize is cultures in London are not necessarily, not always representative of that country or area that you're talking about, where influences and families. So if you think about it, size-wise, obviously is a much larger operation than Rothschild or whatever call. Rothschild, in terms of independent advisory, is a larger operation than Evercore. So actually, I think size matters more than the geographical headquarters. And then also, typically each team, it can also be as a combination of microcultures, depending on the team you're in, the area that you're working in, etc. So at a larger scale, yeah, probably you might say things like Canadian firms are linked to the United States West, like as an example, right? But ultimately, it's more about emphasis that we're working in and the team that we're.
All right, and to keep with the themes of three, with you, Stefanos, you started your finance journey as a graduate analyst at BNP, and you talked about doing 3 rotations. Can you kind of tell us more about why you chose UK M&A, and what are some challenges you encountered during these rotations?
Yeah. So I guess why, as I said before, I did my 3 rotations were in UK M&A, which is the geography team, so sector agnostic, in FIG, which basically has to do with the financial institutions, and the last one is DCM, which is essentially you work in bond origination and new bond issuances. The first 2 were essentially M&A, very related to each other. The one was essentially the geography team, so you can do whatever industry. The second one was very specific in terms of financial institutions, banks, insurance, asset managers. In TCM, that was completely different markets related, hours quite different as well, and not very, is from my point of view, not very technical in terms of corporate finance and regulation and everything like that, which was something that I was interested to learn early on in my career. So that kind of crossed out DCM for me. And then between the 2, it was either you specialize early or you try to you're more kind of generalist, and you experience different industries and work in teams in different sectors. So I chose the latter because I kind of find it variability in my work and what learning about different industries versus becoming an expert in.
We understand that you moved from leverage finance to equity capital markets. Could you share a little bit more about why you did that? And also, what kind of skills did you gain from leverage finance that you have brought over to your current thing?
Yeah, so my leverage finance experience was actually just foreign cash. I think it wasn't an extensive period. I would say they're both market focused, they're both product teams, they're both sector agnostic. And so, although you're advising completely different aspects of that person equity, actually the conversations you're having with clients are quite similar. So you're talking about like in general, alongside a product team, alongside an M&A team in a specific So there's many similarities between, say, ECM, let's say, in a underwriting bank, is a bit different because you're working on deals which are being underwritten, whereas at Rothschild, leverage finance was just advisory, a bit more similar to the ECM that I'm doing now.
All right, and then my last question to you, Stefanos, and then I promise I'll stop grilling you. You started at BNP as an analyst, and you're now vice president. What helped you grow to this role?
Not yet, not yet vice president.
Oh, sorry.
In a couple of months, hopefully.
Well, early congratulations.
Thank you. Excuse me, and the question is?
Yes, sorry. What helped you grow all throughout this process?
Well, I think something that I guess people will realize is in this industry and in this kind of investment banking in general, you kind of learn through, for lack of better word, pain. Okay, so the more work you put in, the more, the longer hours you work, the more deals you do, which essentially is you involvement. That's how the faster you do. Okay. So being open to new opportunities, new deals in a way, like for us, essentially the opportunity is working on a new project. Being open and willing to take said pain helps you grow, and that is what makes you better at your job. That's what enhances your knowledge and it builds your knowledge, and in the end, that's how you get promoted in these things, in these places, essentially.
The question for both of you. A lot of students here are actually looking to break into finance, be it through spring weeks or summers. And so what tips or advice would you guys give to students who are looking to break into finance? Like how should they navigate their internships and evaluations?
I can go first. Give it a start. So getting an internship, spring internship, or graduate program, etc. So there's it's a numbers game. Again, my advice to all of you is essentially apply to as many places as you can. Make sure you don't miss any deadlines, because the more applications you do, the higher your chances of receiving interviews to begin. And not want to discourage anyone, just trying to keep it kind of factual. As an example, sometimes there's like thousands, and this thing I've seen time year and year again. There's thousands of applications for very, very few places, and differentiating between individuals becomes incredibly hard at that scale. So if I had to do it again, how I would do it or how I do it is essentially you apply to as many places as possible. When you get an opportunity through an interview, you make sure to speak to as many people as possible from the place you're interviewing, so to learn as much as you can about the firm you're applying to. So, and that is going to bring out kind of how answer the question of why Evercore, why BNP, why different market. So that's a very important question, because it shows it doesn't, everyone knows that you guys apply to all the banks and all the banks, right? It just shows that you've researched enough the firm, and it shows that you basically put in the work. So the most important things are for more occasions. And secondly, try to speak to people who get some insight, because people are willing to help you, and they're going to take 5 minutes from the day or 10 minutes of the day to come pick up the phone and discuss with you. And the most likely scenario is they ask them to refer you for this summer internship or the graduate program or whatever it is, then they will refer you. They have nothing to lose by referring, and you just try not to kind of all reach out to the same people, because they're just going to be replying to them anyway. spread out. You have alumni, you have yeah, I'm just going LinkedIn. And my experience was 2 out of 10 will reply, and then 1 out of 20 will have a comment. Don't get discouraged if you will answer your messages. But that was a long answer.
Yeah, I agree. I think, especially now, like the job is getting tougher and tougher to crack into, set the numbers value. Also try and spread out, what you're applying to. So even if you want to work in IB, don't just apply to 50 IB places. Do like 20 backup places, so that you at least get a job with an internship somewhere, rather than, you know, because no matter what it is, if you do a summer internship at, you know, one of the big four firms, and then you move to a grad program in IB, you can still talk about everything you did with the firm and everything you learned, forget how you apply it, maybe. Yeah, getting into an internship, enforcing converting stats from internship to grad program is really good. That's most place.
All right, and our last question before we turn to the audience is, what advice would you give to your younger self? We're not insinuating that you're old, but we mean young and like just started university.
I think it's a mix, right? It's important to try and do all these applications and get a job and, you know, make sure you're getting on the path. But you also don't want to stress about it too much. You're only going to be that age once, and once you start working, you will be working for the next 10 years. So it doesn't really matter that much if you, let's say, pick a year out, or, you know, 50 years to do something else and figure out what you want to do, whatever it is. Yeah, don't put too much pressure on yourselves.
I completely echo that answer. I agree. It's essentially, at the end of the day, what matters is you being happy in a way. So if working until 4 a.m. at the investment bank is happy, then go for it. For some people it is, for some people it may not be, but at the end of the day, yes, do not it's not the worst thing in the world if you do not get a summer internship, or if you do not get a graduate program and you take a year out. It's going to make you more rounded person. It's going to make you more intelligent person, which for the days that we're looking for is interesting, smart people. And if you miss a year, in the grand scheme of things, it just doesn't matter. Just always be able to, take a step back and think of what's important in life, not, the person next to me got an interview at this bank and I stayed on and there was no interview. It doesn't.
Thank you so much. So we're done with the questions and answers. We're now open to floor to questions from the audience.
Yep.
Sure.
Sure, but you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Um, on the first question, whether it's limited in any way, I think where it was people they need places for a variety of reasons. One of them is sometimes you are no longer happy in a place, and that's it's a pull factor. Then there's a pull factor sometimes. So like the different places they look more attractive. So I move with in this sense. So for me, there was no push factor at all. So my time at BNP, I really enjoyed and I'm still enjoying. And so I've been there for another 6 years. In terms of missing out, to be honest, don't know because I don't know what my experience would have been in a different place. So as long as I'm kind of doing, happy with the things I'm doing, happy with the experience I'm getting, and everything else that comes with it, then there's no reason to.
Yeah, I'd say culture-wise across both, it's important to distinguish that what I might like culture-wise might not be that you like culture-wise. It's very individual, but generally I think someone like Evercore, each team tends to be a bit smaller, the deal teams are therefore a bit smaller. And the style of work I'm currently doing is a bit different to what I was doing in my first 2 years. I.e., for example, I do a lot of work now, which is advising on main transactions and the capital, associated capital raised with that, for example, as opposed to just a pure equity, straight equity raise. The team right now is 5 people versus 30 people, not as well. So yeah, there's lots of differences, but again, that's sort of what the individual does rather than a generalist, bias. That one. Where I'm currently at.
I'm just
Yeah,
talking.
just sort of talking to the back.
Awesome. So my question was actually pretty similar, but we've had Stefan share reason for staying with BNP for quite a while, and I was sort of wondering sort of your rationale behind moving to different firms, BNP, RBC, Rothschilds, and what you sort of gained from going to different firms instead of staying at one.
I guess you're working with different people and different skills you work with. With me, I'm working with a slightly different style of work, developing different skill set. Smaller team, smaller deal teams, more responsibility per person. Yes, I think there's pros and cons of doing both, right? It's just a case of what you have to go to the time. So, for example, there could be quite a lot of changes happening in a team somewhere, and then they'll move somewhere else. So, again, it's a mix of all factors, but I don't think any one way is better than the other. It's sort of, ultimately is your career, you need to drive your own career because you never don't care about it as much as you. So at that point in time, you'll figure out what's best for you.
What were your reasons for moving to different firms, or is it?
Yeah, I think one, there was quite a lot of change happening in my team, our team. Two, I moved to a smaller firm, small team. Three, I moved from moved from underwriting to non-underwriting, so I started work as well. And then I guess four, Apple actually over the last 2 to 3 years, we've been growing a lot in Europe, almost double in size. It's nice to be somewhere where
I guess just kind of in relation to that as well, a lot of us currently are looking at applying to like internships, grad schemes, but maybe in the future, if we're like 2 years into a job, maybe we would like to change. Kind of wondering how difficult is that to do, particularly whenever you're like working very long hours. How do you find out about different opportunities, and how difficult is it to manage your work and also manage to like interview or kind of go through a process for different.
So, I guess the way to find different jobs, LinkedIn, very good. Recruiters also very good. You need to spread yourself out a little bit rather than relying on one recruiter that's saying and they're going to provide you all the best opportunities. Also, alongside the work can take time. You obviously can't say I'm going to take 2 months off. The experts that you mentioned are supplying things. You've got to still perform your current job because there's no certainty that you'll find a job, right? Unless, obviously it depends on the situation, but generally if you're not in a desperate situation to be jumping, it's more kind of a what else is out there for me and evaluating what else is there. Receiving tools is really the place to start.
And just as that, there's a lot more opportunities, right? 2 years into investment banking, investors trying to get into investment banking. So people can reach out and have a look. And people reach out to you on LinkedIn, they offering calls and grow business. So once you're in, it's a lot easier to move apart from into work and into new models. But in terms of opportunities and that it's there's a lot more out there. This was great news.
Yeah, the question box so we can share over that live stream.
Right. This question is for both of you. So how does workload change between an analyst and an associate? And the second question would be, do you agree with the statement that the higher you go up the ranks, the better your quality of life and quality of work is? Like paid is not. That's a very good question. Can take a first stab at it. The work, how the work changes between analyst and associate. Analyst, if you are basically doing the bulk of the work, the actual work. So is it building a model on top of the slides? The bulk of the work is done by you because there's no one there to help you. So once you move to an associate position, you have someone to help you do your job. But your job at the same time changes and to having more responsibility is one thing, and having kind of something to speak more, because it's not just other things to do during the day, but sometimes just brain was working to just kind of this volume. So you may have to think more which is good. I mean it's the responsibility. And the higher you get, the more responsibility. So as an artist, you do a lot of work, not the responsibility, because it always seems to the person about you. The high, sorry, at the same time, while you plan runs, you spread yourself out in different projects because you don't do as much as you was it like what if you don't do like they don't draft the actual slide, you can do them, write some some messages, etc. Or you can review the model, you guidance, don't spend hours and hours on actually doing the work. So that's how it works, the more senior you get. And the quality of life, I mean, depends. Some people prefer to not have any responsibility and just do work hours on end, and some people prefer to work, they're fine with it because you income stress that comes with it. But then you may be home earlier, you still on your phone, you still checking emails, what I noticed recently is, the more senior we get is the less you enjoy your holidays because you can work from your phone. You can send comments from your phone, or you can send videos, or you can even on call, whereas if you're honest, once you're on the call, anyways, it sounded bad, but I mean, like, it's not like you are more important you get, the more people, the less time you have for yourself. The more demand, more people demand your time. I'm not sure if it made sense with that.
Yeah, I agree. I think on the first, I think about analyst versus associate. an associate probably a lot of the time would be telling analysts what to do rather than doing the work. So you're actually thinking about what the messages are that are being on the slide, what the slide's going to look like, and what you need to convey rather than doing the output only. So that's a big difference. And then also more responsibility with the clients, making sure work streams are on track with, regular weekly calls, etc. So that can be a shift across the two levels. And then I'd also say, yes, I agree, as you get more seniors, you're expected to be young all the time. But you also have a bit more liberty to take an hour out of your day to do whatever you need to do and then get back to work or whatever. I do think post-COVID, the culture is changing a little bit in terms of you don't really need to be at a desk all the time because you had 2 years when everyone worked from home very successfully. That changed the cultures a little bit as well.
Hi there. For a question for how would you say your background, having studied more systems, you in your career, is very skills for thinking?
Yeah, I guess, to be honest, none of the theoretical work that I did actually helped me in school. And you had to like one finance module, which probably the most helpful in my actual job, but actually the most important part is the struggling with different disciplines. You know, okay, I'm sector agnostic and you're juggling multiple projects. So it's more about skills that I hope than really rather than the theory itself.
Hi, can you hear me? Yeah, so I have two questions. Actually, so, I've heard a lot of conflicting opinions about the work-life balance. I mean, IB is obviously a very attractive sector because of its pay. The work-life balance is a big issue that everyone thinks it's destroyed completely. So I want to get from your opinion about the work-life balance. And the second question was, people pressure, being first year, going to apply for summer in first six, the academic academics, what is the key state that, actually your employers look at in a student when they are hiring?
So, the first point on work-life balance, I think that's very important, right? Because, there's benefit in working as a student. There's some benefit into putting a lot of effort in there, which is your interest. And it's really you guys study for exams, the more towards to something, the more you study, the better you're going to do on that. And that goes in your professional career as well. Now, you need to be pragmatic with yourself in a way that, okay, I know what I'm getting into, so I understand what's the expectation. However, what I will say to you is that people are aware. You work with people who, they're not superhuman, right? Everyone gets tired. Everyone wants to go home. Everyone wants to see their family or hang out with their friends. They're not there, 24/7. And it's not as bad as it sounds. I know it's, probably agree, but sometimes I might work from like 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., which is considered a very, very short day in one go. But or completely sorry, for the whole day I was like concentrating, putting everything, thinking and just being there the whole time, mentally. Sometimes we work until 12, 1 a.m. and we feel fine. So what I'm trying to say is, a lot of the work we do is kind of paced in a way because it's not always you have to get through, 10 different topics, and once you're done, you get to go home. It's not only dependent on you, it's dependent on the clients, dependent on other teams that work with. So what pushes, the time in which you finish work is not always dependent on how much work you personally have. And that goes directly into in terms of work-life balance. During the week, for the last essentially 5 years, I would never, or 6 years, I never kind of organize something. Very, very rarely I will organize the dinner during the week. That's become kind of a habit now. I'm not, people ask me coming over dinner on Wednesday night, so I am partying in the weekend. And it's probably not the right thing to, something that, looking back, like I feel like missed out on so many interactions with friends, so many social events, which kind of are still worth it. For some people it is, so that's why people continue in this profession, and some people is not. They decide to do something else. There's no right or wrong answer. It's what works for each individual, and what at the end of the day what companies do with company. And as I said, like pay sometimes it plays a role in that. Some people value pay more than they value the free time, and that a moment in their life, at a period of their life. So it's all subjective on the situation. I think there was a second part of the question, which I took on the question.
I think what's important to recognize is, so for example, when you come to interview Evercore, you have to do version as quite a verbal sessions. And so you get given a company and you have to present on a potential M&A easy. So I think that as an example, it's not necessarily you have to know absolutely every bit of finance knowledge information. Point is, you put in thought, effort, making it, you understand what you've got on the page, and can talk about it. So many times people have put detailed analysis on the page. Then when you ask them questions about it, they can't answer it. So it's actually really better to have less on the page, be able to talk about what you know, slash have learned, and try to, then everybody put the finance online and sort of flustered.
My question is related, and it's, have you ever seen people that pass over the promotions due to like not being involved in corporate politics?
Yes, at the junior level, it's quite structured. With analyst one, analyst two, associate one, associate two, etc. Some places have accelerated promotions. It's took a year, for example, you've done the well year, well, you worked in more deals, etc. I guess the more senior you get, the less structure it is for you to be promoted to something like a partner. I can't really tell you from experience in that, but I think I would say is it's wise for you to go into the job and say you're going to be involved in every bit of corporate politics because you won't really see them.
And we have time for one last question.
So my question is for Stefanos, and I was curious, you mentioned you served in the military, and I was wondering whether due to this experience you had, and how was the transition to investment banking and culture, especially from an environment where collaborativity and collaboration is so important, and how you faced basically having culture shocks, just your general thoughts on the change.
I think there's another parallel between investment banking and the military in the sense that it's very structured. There's like a very structured seniority, and yeah, we're all kind of something that I like to say to if you will join this, we're all very friendly people, but when it comes to work, we're not friends. Like, we will treat each other very well, and we're smiling and we joke around, but when it comes to work, work is work. So that's it's similar thing the structure has been in terms of kind of not blurring the lines between levels is something that happens more and more, I would say. When I was a graduate, for example, I would think of going to my associate of BNP and and kind of push them into coming with me to the pub, which is something that happened to me like 12 years ago. But that is probably, I don't know, maybe it's a generational thing, or maybe it's based on my experience in the army. But I would say there's some parallels that you can draw. But again, as I said before, it's useful. It's glad I have it as an experience, but it's not something that is must or I would kind of buying very highly in obviously as you or it depends. So there's things that you do now. There's you can just sit in post for 2 years and not do anything, or you can jump out of planes. So there's different levels of what you do can.
Right, thank you so much, Stefano. Thank you so much for your time. And I think that's what's so great about having discussions and chats like these, that we as students get to get in the minds of industry professionals and hear all about their lives. So I'm sure you'll all join me in giving another round of applause to Stefano. But the fun doesn't stop here, guys. We've actually got networking in Team Bar afterwards, so you can connect with Stefanos and Prial or any of the exec on a more personal level. So yeah, please come over. Thanks so much.